Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
Doing just fine. How are you?
Oh, bud, I'm going to tell you what. If I was any better, I'd be your gym shoes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I like them
Thanks.
purple.
You got the Pistol Pete Maravich socks
Got
today.
the Pistol Pete socks on, looking good. My man's ready for the day.
I'm ready.
We got a good one today. We've got our Reese's, like always, to start it off. We've got Major League Baseball playoffs in full effect, and they are fun right now. I want to talk about the game that happened this weekend. I want to kind of just recap some stuff because one of the most unbelievable games that two games, honestly, anybody could have seen. 2 games in one, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the NBA started last night. Clay went up with Clay. Clay was there, but Steph and LeBron face off, and that looked a certain way. We'll talk a little NBA, very, very little bit of NBA. We'll go over our playoffs. It's way too early for everybody to start telling me how terrible the Lakers are going to be. All right, so just don't give me that. I don't want to hear it. It's one game. Done with all the I already got guys on Get Up and everything else saying, well, I had them as maybe a 6 seed, but geez, after tonight, I don't think they're making the playoffs. It's one game. There's 82 games in a season. One game, homie. We're going to be all right. Let's just take a big, deep breath. They lost by what? 12 or 13 to the champs from last year, who might be better than last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, and then we've got our NFL picks, of course, which we'll get into, and then Mount Rushmore of sports fights, and then we'll go over our comedy segment of Iliza Shlesinger. I hope I said that right. Hot forever.
That's right.
So we're going to start off with numero uno for today, which is what we start every podcast off, and that's with Reese's candy. Adam, have we done this yet?
Oh, no, we haven't.
I didn't think so. All right, so here we go.
Nice.
We've done, 30 of these now, it feels like. But we've never done Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
So I stopped and I got some king size Reese's Pieces to get us going for today.
Oh, it's been a while.
I'm excited to see what your number is on this because there's 0 chocolate. And most of the time most of when we judge things, we talk about the chocolate to peanut butter ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no chocolate to peanut butter ratio. There is candy shell to peanut butter ratio. Adam, you just threw them in the old mouth. They're about to be down the gullet. First impressions?
First of all, you can't eat in one bite. You can't eat less than, you can't put in your mouth less than about 4 or 5.
Oh, yeah.
And you got, almost unlimited to how many you can throw in there at a time. So I don't know how many that was for me, but it was, probably 7, 8, something like that. So really get the full picture. Yeah. It is like almost all peanut butter, but the candy shell is just enough. You think, oh, this is an M&M. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's peanut butter.
No, my friend, that's a Reese's Pieces.
Mm-hmm. What's a singular? Is it Reese's Piece?
Mm-hmm. It is. But like you just said, you can't eat a Reese's Piece.
You're right.
You can't eat a Reese's Piece.
Yeah.
You have to eat Reese's Pieces.
That's correct. Good call. So, totally right. You're totally right about the peanut butter to chocolate thing we're always talking about. But you know what? This is a staple. This has been around so long. Really, of all the candies like this M&M's, Skittles, those kind of like candy shell things,
Small candy shells.
right? I say Reese's Pieces is number 1 for me.
I'm in for that. 100%.
Now, the peanut butter M&M's,
No.
I think better than these for me. Actually,
Whoa,
those might be
that's crazy talk.
There you go. I was gonna reach down.
That's blasphemous to the Reese's peanut butter.
My apologies, but very close second is Reese's Pieces for me. So, man,
I gotta tell you, so the way I eat, any of these, whether it be M&M or Reese's Pieces.
How about this handful with almost all orange?
Ooh, almost a full oranger.
Happy Halloween.
I throw them in. I'll throw it in, and I'll grab one at a time, pull it off to the side, turn it up on its end in between the back teeth, and just chip away at it. Have we talked about this before?
Well, this is a professional sunflower seed eater eating Reese's Pieces like sunflower seeds.
It's exactly right.
What that is.
That's what it is. You pop it up, and I just chip away the outside, and I chew on the little. I've never thought about that. I eat minimum of one bag of sunflower seeds every day.
You should be getting paid to eat sunflower seeds. David should be you don't do David, right? You do.
I switched over to the bigs, man. I do the
That's right.
taco.
That's right. So they should be paying you. Anyway, go ahead.
But I never thought about the reason. I always thought it was weird. I always wonder if anybody else eats M&Ms or Reese's Pieces this way, and like kind of chips away at the outside of it.
Mhm.
I'm even got him in a corner sucking on him right now while I talk, just like I would. But no one's ever said, "Hey, it sounds like you eat sunflower seeds." That's exactly probably why I do this. This is exactly what I'm doing. I'm just in my mouth playing around, chipping away at it, just like I would a sunflower seed.
Peanut butter sunflower seeds.
Wow, you just blew my mind.
Creature of habit. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, so what are we scoring this bad boy?
You wanna score first? I'm still thinking about
Oh,
this.
it's easy for me. 9-7.
Wow,
Who's up at the top, bub?
big number. All right, I'm going. You were a 9-7.
Well, you think about it for a minute. Let me ask you a question while you're thinking about it.
Please do.
So when I went to go get these before I got them,
Mhm.
went into a Speedway,
Okay.
Troy,
Shout out Speedway.
Troy, Ohio.
Oh,
No, wasn't a Speedway. What was that? A North Star or something like that.
Mm.
Anyway, I got to use the little boys' room.
Mhm.
Number one,
Tiny boy's room.
no big deal. And so I go in. Okay. Two faucets, right? Okay.
Okay. Two
Like
sinks.
Two
like-
sinks.
okay.
Yep. Two sinks. Huge area. You could easily fit 3 stalls or 2 urinals in a stall or something like that. So they got a urinal, a ton of space, and then toilet. I walked in, saw all the space and 2 sinks. I just walked in and started using the bathroom because it just looked like a regular old bathroom that you just walk into. Feller walks in while I'm in there.
Wait.
I know. Yep.
Wait. So let me ask you, can I ask you a quick question?
I know what you're going to ask me, and the answer is no. Go ahead,
No, hold on.
because this is going to be my point that I think where I screw up.
Is the toilet a stall? Or are there walls? Or is it a
I knew you were going to ask.
freestanding toilet?
Freestanding toilet.
Okay. Are you, I don't want to get too personal here. Are you standing at the urinal or not? Let's
Yeah.
just say it that way.
Yeah,
You're standing at the urinal. Okay.
Whoa! You have the gall to ask me that? I said it was number one.
Oh,
We have talked about. Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't catch that. My bad.
Oh, okay. That could be a totally different story because that just got talked about on the Greeny show not that long ago about walking in on somebody
Okay.
while they're dropping a deuce. Anyway, so I was going to the bathroom and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" As I'm going, and he goes, "Jeez, oh Pete, it's a 1 bathroom," and he closes the door, and I was like, "Huh?" And I would go over, I wash my hands in one of the 2 sinks. I'm like, "Well, there's a lock on the door."
Mm.
And there's no stall doors. And I open the door and he goes, "You could at least lock the door." I mean, my back was to him. Wasn't like I had my pants all the way down to my bottom. And if he's just got to pee, walk over and go pee. It's just like another urinal, basically. I got yelled at for bad bathroom etiquette.
I mean, I okay. I mean,
Lock the door. Lock the door.
you know what? I get that from his perspective.
He didn't
Also-
see anything.
Also, yeah, but still very uncomfortable situation. But
I was nice to him. I said, "Hey, how you doing?"
the way you describe the bathroom, so confusing.
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't think it was a one, although I'm such a freak about,
If there's a lock, you're locking.
I'm making sure, yeah. But I get it, especially two sinks. Two
That's what
sinks
threw me off.
in a one-person bathroom. That'll throw you off.
I was lost today. I was lost.
Yeah.
Got yelled at. So what did I do? I went out and I walked around and I waited for him to get done. I didn't say a word to him, but when he got done, I had the Reese's in my hand. I had my orange monster, and I had a Reese's outrageous bar with me as well, because that's number one.
Yep.
And as soon as he walked out, I walked out of the aisle and I just walked by him and I gave him a little head nod and a smile. And I walked up to the thing. I just wanted him to know there's no reason to be upset. No reason to be mean or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was an honest mistake. No words. He didn't say anything to me.
That's fair.
You can look at me all day.
Really? Yeah. I
He
mean,
felt my presence though.
hopefully, first of all, hilarious that you waited for him
Absolutely.
just to give a head nod.
There's no reason to yell at me because I didn't lock the door.
Oh.
It's a one-person stall. Slam the door. I come out and he goes, "You gotta lock it." Okay, sorry. You can see nothing. Can't see nothing.
Thanks, Pops.
Yep. Get off my lawn.
Oh, haven't had that segment in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a very interesting story. I almost want to see this bathroom. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy to have a bathroom like that. Why do you have a bathroom like
I
that?
totally agree. Troy,
Throw.
Ohio North Star. Go get it.
Come on, Troy, Ohio North Star. Throw some walls up around the. First of all, that's the thing. So
Done.
that tells me it's a one-person bathroom. No walls around.
Sorry,
the toilet.
that was what I was going to get to, but you asked it right away. Yes.
But two sinks. Is this a one-stall thing or not? Is this a one-person thing or not? That's weird. Or is it so that you can wash your right hand in a sink and the left hand in a different sink?
Who knows? All right, that's my bathroom story. What are you rating these things?
I'm going. You know what? I'm going 9.5, which is a good number. But the only reason it's not bigger is the more you eat them, the more you get that like phlegm in your throat. It's really kind of coating
The peanut butter.
your
That's
throat.
The extra peanut butter.
Yeah, you need a drink. You know, they're very tasty, but they'll give you that phlegm thing. You know what I mean?
I think they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. They are. Good call on that. I totally forgot about the simple, classic Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. All right, Adam, that brings us to our first sports segment of the day. Let's talk a little Major League Baseball playoffs, my friend. It is Wednesday night. We are officially in the NL and ALCS. The division series were all pretty good. Well, I don't know. There was at least a couple good games in them.
I think the Astros swept the Mariners, didn't they?
They did, but that was one of the games.
Good games, yeah. There you go.
Doesn't mean just because they're sweep doesn't mean it's not all good games.
It's true.
So, Adam, let's start with you, bub. How you feel about the playoffs as of this date? I want to go back. While you talk, I'm gonna find something here.
First of all, I like that since they made the wild card series a 3-game instead of 1. I like that the division series is 5 games instead of 7. I like that it's only 5 games. You got to get through those first 2 rounds fairly quickly, right? So I like that about it. There were some good games, some really good games in the division series. You're about to talk about at least one of them. That was an 18-inning game. That was so exciting because it was 18-inning 0-0 game.
Unbelievable.
It ended up 1-0. That's a playoff baseball dream of mine. That's awesome. We're getting a fax. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the fax. Machine going off in the background.
That's just that's how our producers communicate with us from the other room.
Exactly.
So the only podcast in the world. There are over 4 million podcasts. The only podcast in the world where we communicate with the operating room through fax. So very, very, very good. Some very good games in the division series. I like, a lot of mostly low scoring games, and love the pitching matchups. We talked about that.
Pitching is so amazing.
Oh, so you get the best. You get the best starters, and then they're going to be at their best most of the time because there's more at stake here than a game in May. So they're going to be as focused and as on top of things physically as they possibly can be. Same with the bullpens. Some of these teams have really good bullpens. Some of them are just okay and are not even that great, but you are getting your best 2 or 3 guys in each bullpen, kind of the same way as the starters. You're only using maybe 3 starters most of the time in these series.
Yep.
Your best 3 that are in the best shape, that are going the best right now. Same deal with the bullpen. So you are getting the best pitching that you're going to get. That's why I love the playoffs. And then same deal with the defense. Guys are going to be on their toes more often, more focused every pitch, and turning 2 quicker, and all the little stuff is happening at a much higher level. It's just a higher level of the game, like probably every sport playoffs. So we are in before you talk about the division series games, some of those really good games. Now we're in. No, actually, let's talk about.
Here's what I want to say. So first, just to show what kind of playoffs we're having when it comes to the pitching side of things. In the wild card series, Tampa Bay and Cleveland go 15 innings, 1-0. The longest 0-0 playoff game in baseball history. 15 innings before that one was settled. And the longest ever 0-0 game ever in the playoffs. And then to turn around and have it be beaten a week and a half later, or I think it was only a week later, to go 18 innings by Houston and who did Houston play? Houston and Seattle.
Yeah.
And they go 18 innings on the 15th. That's the stuff that I love. Watching great pitching, watching bullpens come in, watching amazing hitters look foolish. And Julio Rodriguez, that kid's going to be a superstar. And I love every bit of that kid. I feel bad that we'll never get to see him in the rest of this playoffs, but he's a daggone good baseball player.
Yeah.
And I look forward to this Mariners team in the future.
Yeah. Reds West, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I can't wait to see Luis Castillo pitch again. It's not going to happen until next year, but just, man.
He threw 2 gem games and lost them both.
Yeah. Yep. Houston has been the best team really in baseball all year, pretty much. So no shame in that. And they are actually that game, the game 1 of the ALCS just got over, and the Astros won 4-2. So yeah, that was
the San Diego and Philadelphia are tied at 1-1 after today.
Yep. And speaking of that, in the NLDS,
San Diego's got to have the best pitching, right? Left.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Houston.
Houston,
right.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it's between those 2, I would
Blake
say.
Snell, Yu Darvish.
Joe Musgrove. Yeah.
That's 3 unbelievable pitchers right there.
Yeah. And then you've got Machado and you got Juan Soto. That was a huge pickup.
That's insane. Juan Soto is that guy's so much fun to walk.
He's
when he takes an outside pitch and he does that little Soto shuffle. I can't wait for one of my kids to start doing that. It's going to start happening. If I were a baseball player and I saw that, I would watch a pitch that was close on that outside corner and do a little dance when he called her the ball too. I love that.
The kids are going to start doing it, I'm sure.
I was just thinking about what all the other coaches would say. Speaking of that, first base coach for our baseball team, Randall James Witt, happy 60th birthday tomorrow.
Best youth baseball first base coach in the nation.
Oh, by far.
He
Not even
was-
close. Not even close.
Um,
He's got
Man.
the plaques to prove it.
6-0. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
6-0 tomorrow. I'm gonna give that boy a call.
Mm-hmm.
That old slime belly gutter snipe. I'm gonna give him a call.
Absolutely. Definitely do it.
The disappointment that the Braves and Dodgers are not playing for the NLCS is huge for me.
Mhm.
I hate that. I mean, the Phillies and Padres are fine. I don't care about either one of those teams, to be honest with you. I just don't care.
My son is excited for San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I have family in Pennsylvania that are Phillies fans. So I got a little stake in the game for this. I'll be watching. I'll still be watching that, even though it's
Yeah.
probably going to be the least watched championship series in a while.
Yeah. You wouldn't believe how I feel like I have one foot right now. This one's dead.
Is it?
Totally dead. Can't feel it. Is it on the floor? Now it's on the floor. I can't feel that.
So if you're crossing your legs and you're a human being and you're crossing your legs and you start to feel a little tingle,
Mhm.
you don't go right away and get it done and switch them up immediately.
I think I usually do. I think I was just sort of ignoring it.
Oh, gotcha. Out of sight, out of mind, huh?
Right. Yeah. This is the playoffs of podcasts. I got to be focused on this. All right. You got to play hurt sometimes.
Could you imagine Juan Soto sitting on the bench in an inning, crossing his legs and getting up to run out to the outfield, going out to actually he looked like he had a dead leg today when the sun got in his eyes for a fly ball to right field and he couldn't find it.
Did I ever tell you the story of when my foot fell asleep in Coach Ira's class one time?
All right, real quick.
I'm sorry.
Coach Shira. No. We need this story. Coach Shira, was it accounting or
Yeah, it was like
or personal
bookkeeping or
finance? It was personal
something like that.
finance.
It was there were guys that were older than me. It was a
Elective.
class that all the guys in my class were, let's just say, lower level students.
Sure, that's how mine was.
Okay.
Yeah, when I
only
took it,
maybe he only taught.
I mean, I was a C. I was in C, all level C. Was it level C or level
2, I
3?
think.
I was all level 3 classes, right? Level 1 was smart kids.
I
Right?
thought it was level 1 and 2.
They were the smart kids.
Level 1, level 2s I thought were not.
There was 4 different areas. You could
Was
be
there 4?
yeah, like 1, 2, 3, or 4. It was A, B, C, or D, something like that.
I thought it was just like 1 and 2, and maybe they had some 3s. Anyway,
Because I was in French 3 my freshman year, and he only took French 1 and 2 students to continue on and take French 4. Whatever. I'm so confused now. It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
So Coach Shira, known as being one of the biggest hotheads of a teacher at Moeller or Elder or wherever else he went afterwards. Multiple rumors of him having his way with that sounded bad. Throwing
Not like that.
throwing kids around when he got mad at them, literally. My favorite. So go ahead. Tell me. I want to hear about your foot falling asleep in crazy Coach Shira's class.
Yeah, I want to say I was sleeping.
Defensive coordinator at the time.
Defensive coordinator at the time. I want to say I was sleeping. It wasn't like during, I think we like took a test and I got finished.
You
and I
only
slept.
ever did 10 minutes of class in his class.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all
true.
you ever did.
Maybe
if
we were
that.
just finished with class and I just went to sleep for a little bit. Woke up when the bell rang.
Yeah.
Wiped the pool of slobber off the desk.
Yep.
And then got up and tried to walk out quickly because you get like 4 minutes to walk to the other side of campus.
And he was in the basement.
He was in the basement. I get up. I realize I can't feel my foot is totally asleep. It feels like I don't have a foot. I want to say it was maybe my left, just like this one. I also, not only could I not feel it, I didn't have control over it. So every step I took, my foot went like this. Like it turned to the side.
Yeah. You broke your ankle every time you took a step.
I did. And so I start limping and I'm trying to like put my foot down
Just
on the ground
dragging it.
and it's just automatically like going to like, I can't put it flat on the ground for some reason. It's that dead. Coach Shira sees this and starts cracking up. He starts laughing so hard. And so I'm embarrassed and also laughing
I
because
love the fact that he's laughing at you. Any other kid that's taking that class is a wrestler or a football player, and they're have oh my gosh. Okay, so Mr. Embarrassed.
It had to look really funny. So he's cracking up. So I'm like, so I have to stop. I can't walk out into the hall. The halls are madness, right?
Yeah.
Going between classes. I can't walk out in the hall like that. I can barely move. So I'm like
Shaking the old foot,
shaking it, trying to move it around. Yeah, it takes me like probably almost a full minute to get enough life back into it to be able to walk out of the classroom. And the whole time he is cracking up at me. It was just the weirdest. I will never forget that because it was the only time I've ever, my foot's fallen asleep and I tried to step down and I could, like, it was just like, I just kept doing that. It just like rolled over every time. The weirdest thing, the weirdest feeling.
I love that. Coach Shira is one of my favorite teachers I ever had. He comes up into class one day on a Thursday. Okay. He comes to class on a Thursday and he walks in and he goes, boys, I feel cold coming on. Just let you know. Got a boys trip this weekend. So I think I'm gonna have to I feel cold. I might have a sick day tomorrow. Funniest thing, he fake coughed the entire time. And everybody knew it. He knew he was doing it. Like it was a fake cough the entire time. And he just kept doing it and talking about, yep, feel cold coming on. Yep, feel cold, feel cold coming on. Like, you don't have to do that. Just call in sick one day, man. That's Coach Shire. I love that guy. He was awesome.
He was an interesting fella. Yeah, it was.
People would try to get him pissed off.
Yep.
There's
our class too all the time.
There's a kid I took with a couple wrestlers, and there was this one wrestler in particular that would purposely try to irritate him to get him to go off, and he would just, when he snapped, he snapped. He never hit anybody or hurt anybody in class or anything, but he would lose his shit on somebody. Sorry, pardon my language. And he would talk about dropping F-bombs and this, that, and the other. He did not hold back. He let that kid know everything he thought about his wasted space and mama's boy. I think I wasn't a mama's boy. What do you call him? We called him
probably something way worse.
It was way worse. It had to do with mom and dad, giving him everything, and he's never had to work for anything in his life. And you're just a little pissant, blah, blah, blah. It was, oh boy. Yeah, let old boy have it.
He'd give a lot of middle fingers.
Oh yeah.
He did a lot of that.
Yeah,
because he knew guys were messing with him.
Yep.
And he'd just throw
it off.
He'd be like, he'd like give a little fake laugh and throw it up.
He talking like this all the time. He's all he did was yell on the sidelines for football. So he always had a raspy voice, and he always looked. Face was always red. He always looked like he was about to, like his blood pressure was about to boil over. Yeah. God, is he alive still? I don't know.
I don't know if he's still in teaching.
The rumor was he got kicked out of Moeller. He was a coach at Moeller, and he got kicked out of there because he beat up some kid. And then there was a rumor that he threw some kid under the bleachers in the old gym when he was teaching gym class my year. Somebody started talking about it. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, good old Coach Shire. Love that dude. He was always awesome to me, so I don't care.
He was funny. I'm sorry to get us off on that.
I love sidetracking things for us. It's always fun. It takes our 30-minute podcast an hour and a half to 2 hours every time.
That's right. Which is fine. Anyway,
Adam doesn't get to sleep at night, but it's fine.
No. I mean, you don't either. Anyway, the NLCS is tied at 1. Astros are up 1-0 now on the Yankees. I mean, it feels like the Astros are going to win that series even before this game because they've just been so good. If it goes long enough where Verlander can go twice, like if it goes 4 games, it has to go 4 games because they're at seven best of 7 now. But so he'll probably pitch. He just pitched game 1. He'll probably pitch game 4. So in 4 games, you're getting the guy who was the best pitcher in baseball this year going twice. And then I'm trying to think of. So they've got 2 other guys.
They do this all the time.
Great years.
They do it all the time. You ever hear the guys, the announcers, when they start talking about, they're doing this with Garrett Cole the other day. So if he pitches today and if he goes So then you got tomorrow will be so and so, and then there's an off day, right? And then they do it during the broadcast because baseball can be a little slow, so you can hear them trying to figure out the math on how many pitchers. It's always fun to listen to.
So I guess I'm hoping for Astros Padres at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think baseball wants Astros. Oh no, I think baseball wants Aaron Judge in the World Series.
Oh yeah,
baseball is going to want Aaron Judge in the World Series this year. They're going to want, and out of the two teams in the National League, they're going to want. If they had, obviously it's not up to them, but they got to play the game. But they would want San Diego, I would think, just because of Juan Soto being such a big name, and they've already tried to do a lot of branding with him already, and then you got the home run derby. They've been pushing him a lot.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Fernando Tatis was still on this team,
dude,
or still eligible?
They probably wouldn't be where they're at.
I think they'd be worried. I think they probably wouldn't.
I don't mean that. That kid's an unbelievable baseball player.
Yeah. It's weird though that the Phillies were not a good team to start the season, and then their manager got fired, and then this new guy took over, and they Rob Thompson. His name. They just took off from there. They've been really good. I think he signed like a 2-year deal recently, like a 2-year extension to be the manager now.
They beat a good St. Louis Cardinals team in the wild card, and then they turned around and beat probably the best team in baseball at one point in time. In the Braves.
Yeah. Yep. So they're
in the National League. Sorry. Maybe not. Actually, I take that back. The Dodgers were the best team in the National League all year.
Braves were second.
Braves were second.
They had a great, especially second half. But so it's weird to see. I think that's part of the reason that it's hard to get excited about the Phillies and Padres, because the Phillies started out bad. They weren't not a good team to start the season.
Right.
So it's like, all right, are they just kind of riding a hot streak right now? Are they really that good? But they do. They've got Aaron Nola. They've got a few pretty nice pitchers on the staff, and people like watching Bryce Harper sometimes, I guess. And we got Nick Castellanos, so we can keep track of.
Yep, Bryce Harper, who a lot of people can't stand, but a lot of people also like. He is hitting the cover off the ball in the playoffs. Yeah, he's doing what the best player in your team should do.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it. That's an update of where we're at in the playoffs, and we'll do that again next week. And there's a chance, I guess, that we could have one or both World Series, right? Teams.
Yeah, there's a chance we could have one, I believe.
Yeah. No, we probably will.
There's already 2 games down. Let me get back over to that. You're already 2 games down there. So let's see. You'll have game.
They're off. So National League's off tomorrow, and they're back at it Friday.
Game 3 will be on Friday. And then game 2 for them will be. So that'd be game 4, game 5, game 6. Absolutely. Game 7 to be on Tuesday. So we will.
No matter what.
Sorry. Game 7 of Yankees Houston would be on Wednesday. So there is a very good chance that we could have both teams. But if Yankees Astros goes 7 games, then we'll have to wait until that night. But that would be great. If that would be that's gonna be a good series anyway. To see that go 7 games would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. That's baseball for now. Let's jump real quick and get this thing done. Our NFL picks. We do it every week, pick 3 games against the spread we use from the ESPN app for whatever reason, on Wednesday.
I feel like we say that every time.
I know.
We just got to let people know. And then it's almost like, oh yeah, we're using the spread from the NFL, from ESPN app. Like that's a bad thing. I don't know. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Everybody's about the same anyway.
We record on Wednesdays, so we have to go somewhere. We've got to get it from somewhere, and
we both have an ESPN app. So there it is.
We both have an ESPN app. Yeah. I do not have the NFL app.
I don't know if the NFL has spreads on it.
There you go. Okay, so let's talk about last week.
Here we go.
This is always me like
I know I got one. I know I got one.
You know you got one, and that is what you got. You were 1 and 2. You were 1 and 2, and I finally had 1 week where I beat you. I was 2 and 1. It was an opportunity. I could have picked up a couple of games there, but I got one game. So that's 4-11 on the year for me. And that's 6-9. I'm still I picked up a game and I'm still a couple games back from you. But
Okay.
here we go, week 7.
Week 7, let's go. All right. Well, you're behind still, so run them off, bub.
Oh man, the Giants have been surprisingly good this year, and they're at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite in this game. I'm going with the Giants to win that game in Jacksonville.
Wow.
Move on to
the Jags, who started off 2-0 and have lost 4 straight.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken.
Still a favorite, though.
They're not a bad team. They're a good team, man.
Go from Jacksonville on up to Carolina, where the Panthers are an 11-point underdog at home to Tampa Bay.
Ooh.
Tampa Bay's not been a dominant team. I mean, they haven't been that great. You expect them to be great because of Tom Brady and because they won a Super Bowl 2 years ago or whatever. And you expect them to be a lot better than they have been, in my opinion, so far this year. Now,
who's the quarterback for Carolina Panthers? Do you know?
Yeah, it's no, I don't know. Cam Newton.
They started the year with Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, and now they've got PJ Walker and who's this feller? Jacob Eason slinging the rock for him.
Slinging the rock.
How about that? They suck, by the way.
That's gonna make this pick look bad. I'm taking Carolina to.
All you need is how many points?
It's 11.
11. That's a big number.
Big number in there.
Big number.
That's why I
take that home dog, brother. You got to take at least one.
I'm taking it.
Yep. Take at least one. Tom Brady's over there yelling at his bench. Did you hear him on his bench telling his linebackers, telling his linemen, I didn't leave my wife to lose to Kenny effing Pickett.
Wait, did he really say that?
I was listening to it, and I mean, it's in the background. Like there's not a microphone on him, but it's like he's in the distance, and I mean, you could make it sound that way in your head. I don't know what he really said. I couldn't tell you what he really said, but if you try to make, like, if in your head, like I saw the line that said, I didn't leave my wife to lose in the second half to Kenny effing Pickett. And that's the headline I read. And then I watched the video and I listened for it, but I was listening specifically for that. You know how that works? Like you're going to hear what you want to hear if you want to hear it.
That's right. Yeah. I saw it on, I think, Twitter, and I saw somebody wrote that as like the quote.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the audio.
I listened to it like 6 times. I wanted to hear it so bad. He definitely says Kenny Pickett for sure.
Gotcha.
10, is that his name, Kenny Pickett?
How does he feel when he hears that?
He's a rookie quarterback that is on a terrible team. And GOAT's talking about a rookie. He's probably going, yeah, he's probably right. You're supposed to be one of the best teams in the NFL. We're supposed to be one of the worst. Or if he's Tom Brady-esque, he hears that and he can't wait to face Tom Brady again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we'll find out at some point.
Probably not. I think this is Tom Brady's last year. Or maybe not. He doesn't have a wife to go home to now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now he's got plenty of time.
So does he get half her money? Because she's more rich than he is.
She makes way more money than him. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Either way, both are going to be fine.
They got some prenups going. They're going to be all right.
Sure. Yeah, but he's got to start dating again at 40. Well, that's not going to be a problem.
You think that'd be a bother for him?
No, it's going to be fine. It's probably going to be the best thing for him.
So does he turn into does Tom Brady, when Tom Brady gets his divorce, does he turn into like a George Clooney, like that old dude who's like the good looking guy, or is he like a Leonardo DiCaprio where he's the older guy, but he doesn't date anyone that ever gets over the age of 24?
Yeah.
I read this thing, Leonardo DiCaprio, like when his girlfriends turn 23 or 24, they break up. He breaks up with them.
Yep. I've heard that too. Tom Brady can do either one that he wants.
Yeah, he can do anything he wants.
Lucky boy.
It's Tom Brady.
All right. So we went from Jacksonville up north, up the coast of Carolina, go all the way up the coast. Nope. Sorry. Actually cross the country
And then go up the coast
to Denver.
Oh, okay.
To Denver. So the New York Football Jets, which was why I was thinking we were going
Who
up
are
there.
hotter than firecrackers as well.
Another New York team that's always terrible that somehow is good this year.
Sauce.
Because,
They got the
yeah.
sauce, baby. You see him with his. What did you think about Sauce Gardner walking out on the field after beating the Packers with a cheese head on?
Did he? I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh. He's like holding his hands out. He's looking at the crowd, got a cheese head in. And as he's walking away, the wide receiver for Green Bay, Lazard, I believe is his name, runs over and smacks it off his head.
So they're in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a stupid move on his part then. Stupid move.
He might be the greatest. He might be the greatest cornerback to ever live.
I agree. Yeah, he's already one of the best, maybe the best in the NFL.
He's probably one of the two best in the NFL,
statistically already.
Yes, and he's going to be like, I mean, that's insane. He could possibly go down as the greatest ever. He didn't give up a touchdown in his college career.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Incredible. Okay, the Jets are a 1-point underdog in Denver. I'm taking the Jets. I think the Jets are going to win that game.
I like it.
In Denver.
I like it.
So I've got the Giants, the Panthers, and the Jets.
All right, so I'm going to go on and do mine. You know, I don't like to take the Bengals, but the Bengals are home, and I have not seen them play like the way they played that second half since playoffs last year, and they looked good. Joe Burrow was out talking to Colin Cowherd last week and was saying he is just now getting into the workout routine that he had pre-surgery with the appendectomy. So he's back into his rhythm. And boy, oh boy, was he in rhythm in the second half of last week's game because they needed it, because they are down every week. Cardiac cats are back, man. They are always down, and they got to make a comeback. But old Joey B loves it. I'm taking. I think this is a little easier game. I'm taking the Bengals -6.5 at home.
Okay.
Against the Falcons. And then let's see here. As I stare at this, I start thinking about what we have going on in the NFL, and there's a lot of parity in the NFL these days. You no longer have any. You don't have any undefeated teams.
I was noticing this. Everybody's 3-3, 2-4, 4-2.
Yep. Everybody has at least 2 losses, unless you're the Texans. You have 1 tie. Who did they tie? Oh, the Colts. Okay, so as I look through this and I decide who I'm going to take a spin down to Miami, and they are playing the Steelers, and I don't like anything about either of those games, so I'm not going to pick that game at all. But the 49ers and Chiefs, now this game intrigues me.
Yeah.
This game intrigues me. 49ers just came out with an absolute blowout. I took them as one of my games last week, and they got the brakes beat off of them. I'm trying to find that game from last week to tell you how bad it was, but I can't seem to find it. It was an early game. There it is, 28-14 to the Falcons, who are not that good.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Chiefs, who just came off a loss, a really good game, a loss to probably the best team in the NFL in the Buffalo Bills. And I am going to, who I do apologize, because the Buffalo Bills, they only have 1 loss, but I believe they have a bye week this week. That's why I don't see it on here.
Yeah.
This is a whole lot of talking because I didn't prepare. So I'm going to take the Chiefs -2.5 to come out. That was a big game for them that they lost. They're on the road in San Francisco, but I don't think it matters. Jimmy G is probably going to be I like to see a high scoring game in this game, but I think the Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs need a big comeback here.
Okay. You got the Bengals and Chiefs so far.
Oh, I didn't pick a third one? Oh, I thought I picked one in between. I just talked about a bunch.
You said
Talk myself out of a bunch of stuff.
talked about the games. You're like,
Okay.
I'm not touching those things.
Well, I like to take a road dog. So let's find a road dog that looks good to me. Let's see here.
The road dog, Jesse James.
The badass Billy Gunn.
A new age.
Outlaws. I love when we get a little WWE mixed into the podcast. I wish we did more WWE. Here we go. I'm not taking the Commanders. They're a road dog. I'm not taking the Panthers. They're a road dog. Sorry about your take there. That's it. Everybody else, oh no. No, yeah, the 49ers. Obviously, I can't take two of the same. All right, so I guess I'm not. Let's go to, you know what? Let's just do this. You took the Jags. I'm taking the Giants. No, that's not how it works. Is that what you took? Who'd you take?
I took the Giants.
You took the Giants?
Mhm.
Okay. Then I'm taking the Jaguars.
Okay.
I'll switch it up.
There you go. All right. So Jacksonville's -3. You have them. All right. Okay. That's NFL picks.
Ooh, that was a struggle.
Week 7. I mean, you gotta think through them. You don't want to just hastily throw something together. And
Sure.
all right. On to, if you're watching on YouTube, you see my shirt. It's the Indiana Pacers. They're not going to be good this year, but they play in my favorite league, and that's the National Basketball Association. And we're just going to talk a minute about who we like, who we think is going to make maybe be the conference champs, and then who we think is going to win the championship this year.
All right. You want to give us a start off on this, brother? Let's do it.
Sure. I mean, we did get to see a fun matchup.
Yeah, let's talk about
last
that.
night.
So last night, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors hung the banner, and they were cooking, man. They came out. They did what they do in the third quarter, which is score as many points as anybody can score in the third quarter. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, not 2 years, but last year for sure, they scored more points than any team in the third quarter in all of the NBA, and it was not even close. And they did the same thing and jumped out to a big lead. And the Lakers go down. We talked about it earlier. LeBron and AD were both out there. You even had your boy Suge Knight. Suge Knight, huh? That's what I came up with.
Suge Knight.
Russell Wilson or Suge Knight. I don't even know. Where
Russell
did I come
Wilson.
up with Suge Knight from? Where did
Russell Wilson, who who's a point guard for the Lakers, and another point guard for the Lakers at one time was Kevin Nash.
I'll never live that. I'll never live Steve Nash down.
Speaking of
Steve Nash, Kevin Nash. Never live it down on this podcast. Go back. It's happened many, many times. Anytime we talk about the Brooklyn Nets over the past year, I've called Steve Nash, Kevin Nash at least 10 times.
And then you just called Russell Westbrook Russell Wilson.
Did I just do that too? On top of calling him Suge Knight?
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude! I called Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson, and Suge Knight all in the same segment.
Oh, wait, maybe if Suge Knight and Russell Wilson had a baby together, it would be Russell Westbrook.
Maybe. There you go.
Oh
my gosh. So, man, I haven't even had anything to drink today.
Okay, yeah. So the Lakers, the Warriors won that game. I only saw I saw the ring ceremony and then the first half. Apparently, so stat-wise, looked like AD and LeBron both had decent games.
Yep.
I think Westbrook even had a double-double.
Mm-hmm.
How did they look, though?
I didn't watch the entire game. I watched a lot of the highlights this morning, but it looked like they played a team that was better than them, and it almost looked like they weren't 100% in it. They've got 3 guys that can score, and they know they can score, and they took a lot of shots, but they just looked a little slow. They looked a little slow.
Was that not what a lot of people were saying last year? It just didn't look like they were into it.
It's exactly right. And when they did get out and run, they went on a 10-0 run to come back, to get back in the game in the third quarter. To start the third quarter off, I want to say they went on like a 10-0 run and then proceeded to get beat by like 15 in the third quarter.
You have the horses to get out and run. Even those guys are getting longer in the tooth and everything. LeBron
Dude,
and Russ.
LeBron
but those guys
running up
can
and down the
still-
court, you still can't stop him.
Exactly. Same with Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
When he wants to go as hard as he can all the way down the floor, he's getting to the rim
Yes.
before you can cross half court sometimes.
Yeah.
And if they're running together, I mean, you're not going to stop that. So when they get out, I mean, hopefully they do more of that and try to get as much in transition as they can. That a lot of times transition will get you open threes too, or just open looks in general. And if they can do that, I still don't know that they have like shooters around them. Like
This team's going to look different by Christmas.
Probably.
This team's going to look different by Christmas. They just, you can't play with the three they have and that's it. I mean, and they're going to need a lot more pieces. They're all getting, AD's not even old. AD's a young.
Yeah.
But
He's
Russ,
30 maybe or something.
maybe he may not even be 30.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't even need to talk about the Lakers.
The Lakers,
You talk about the Lakers just because they're polarizing and LeBron's there, right? So you automatically say it's a LeBron James team. Well, then you're going to talk about him because for 9 straight years, he went to the finals.
Right.
So,
but because of last year, you don't know that you can trust them. You don't know what you're going to get out of this team because of last year, because of already some stuff with Westbrook. If you saw one of the last preseason games where he was frustrated and there was a foul, Patrick Beverly was trying to get the guys all to come in to huddle together, and everybody did except Russ. And he just stood a couple feet away and ignored everybody and they're like all calling his name, Russ, come here. And he wouldn't even acknowledge him. Went to stand on the free throw line or stand on on the side. That was a really bad look already. He was too frustrated to get together and talk with his teammates or to even go over and just pretend like he's listening.
Yep, that's what most of them do anyway. They just walk over there, they stare at there, and then they go 2, 3, go. And then they walk out. But how weird is it just for that team? Like the fact that they picked up Patrick Beverly, who is the biggest fight. He gets in fights all the time, but the biggest one that he's known for is all the stuff with Russell Westbrook that went down.
Yeah.
And now they throw those two on a team together. Is that maybe a slap in the face to a man like Russell Westbrook? Like we could care less if this is your arch nemesis.
I don't think so. It shouldn't be taken that way.
He had a really funny story about it. Did you hear
we read it here.
We did read it here. That's right. Yeah. You read it. You're the one that told it to me. having lunch on a yacht or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Russ brought the wine, baby.
Yeah. It was funny. So kind of some weird stuff already going on there. I mean, people have been talking about Russ leaving and them getting rid of him for a year. Let's forget about the Lakers for now. In the West, who do you have? In the West, the best teams you have are going to be.
You've got Dallas,
Golden State,
obviously. You've got Phoenix.
Yep.
You've got
the team that a lot of people were talking about maybe making the finals this
year.
Los Angeles Clippers.
Really, the Clippers, huh?
The Clippers, because
are they fully healthy?
I think they're fully healthy.
That's the whole thing. If they're fully healthy and they've got Paul George, a healthy Paul George, and a healthy Kawhi Leonard, then yeah. But I need to see those guys play. There's too many injuries. You know, when it's out here and there for the first couple times when they're out there, then in their early in their career, then it's like, all right, they come back. It's constant now. Like those two seem to always be hurt in some way, shape, or form. It's like Anthony Davis, where it's like, okay, now you gotta come out and show me that you can still play. Now I'm not just gonna say because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are on the same team that team's got to be good because of the way they play defense and how they can each get their own shots when they need to and can distribute the ball and they play defense. Like I said, I got to see it now though. They're getting older, and I'm not 100% in. I'm not saying they can't be, but
I agree. Yeah, I think they might have a decent bench too. So maybe that's why people are talking about that. I'm with you though. I need to see it. I need to see it over a good period of time, over most of the season. So anyway, between Memphis, Dallas, the Clippers, Phoenix, and Golden State, those are probably the top. Maybe throw Denver in there. those are the top teams, I think. And any one of those teams. Now, it seems to me like, either people are picking the Clippers or Golden State. A lot of people are still picking Golden State to win the West again. Totally legit. So I think until somebody figures out how to beat them again, I think I go Golden State in the West. Anybody new for you?
There's no, I mean, they're the obvious favorite, and they are, like I said, they might be better now than they were last year. I mean, Jordan Poole's no longer a rookie. Wasn't he a rookie last year? Or second-year player? I mean, he was very young on last year's team. He's another year older. He's also a black guy in, he's getting to know his bruiser out there on the court in Draymond Green. Clay and Steph. When was the last time Clay Thompson was healthy for a full year? Clay healthy.
Yeah.
I can't
4 years ago.
Yeah. That he was healthy for a full season.
Yeah.
And they get him and Steph for an entire year. Draymond does his Draymond thing where he facilitates the ball very well and he keeps the energy going the right way, hopefully most of the time. And then you've got Jordan Poole, who has proven to be a really good point guard when he's in there. They've got Wiseman comes off the bench. They've got
Jonathan
Wiggins
Kuminga.
off the bench. I mean, this team's insanely good.
Wiggins, who probably should have been the MVP of the finals last year.
Could have been. He was the number 1 overall pick. Wiseman was a number 1. Was Wiseman a number 1 overall pick, or he was a lottery pick? I know that. Yeah. But they've got so many. They've got young. You're seeing a youth movement in Golden State, and yet the 3 best players on that team are still Steph, Clay, and Draymond are the core, right? So it's like you're seeing the old move in while the old move out while the young move in, and it's happening at the same time. This team is insane.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine another team beating this team.
Okay.
As long as they stay healthy, there's always the caveat, right?
Of course.
As long as they stay healthy, they've got a 7-footer that can run the floor. Wiseman can get up and down, right? That kid's good.
Yeah.
I love that team. I think it's insane how good they are.
Yep.
Parker will probably have a Steph Curry shirt this year. He's gonna have to go Steph this year.
Nice. Love it.
He's got He's got his Giannis Antetokounmpo basketball shoes, and I asked him what kind of shoes he wanted for basketball season. He said he wants another pair of Giannis's, so probably going to go with some Giannis.
Good man. And speaking of that, we jump right into the East there. To me, it's Milwaukee and maybe Boston in the very top tier.
Sure.
And then I think right below that, I think you have Brooklyn maybe.
Brooklyn should be there. I mean, just because of the team they have. I mean, Brooklyn has the potential to be in that top tier, but once again, you got a lot of egos and a lot of injury prone people and a lot of head injury people. That's not the right way to say it. A lot of mentally injured people.
Mentally injured, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Brooklyn, and I don't know. And Steve Nash may be the guy to finally bring it all together, but we'll see. I hate the unknown with that.
I know. I mean,
that should have been a what do you call it when a team wins for a long time and
dynasty?
A dynasty. That should have been a dynasty.
It seems like it. Although Kevin Durant doesn't really want to stay around too long anywhere, it seems. I mean, he was in Oklahoma City, but since then,
3-4 years, he's out.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's okay. But
what about Cleveland?
Cleveland's going to be good. I need to see them take the next step. I need to see them beat one of these top tier teams in the playoffs to know that they're.
I love that
there.
Garland kid.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's have Donovan Mitchell now too.
Donovan Mitchell. That's where Donovan Mitchell went. Right. I mean, that's going to be a good team. What about the 76ers?
The Sixers are in that next tier too.
Joel Embiid and James Harden
and probably Miami is right there too. I think the Sixers, Miami, Brooklyn.
They're probably my favorite team to watch. If I was going to have a kid watch an NBA game and try to learn something from it, I would have him watch Miami because they play all over they play well on both ends of the court. They're well coached. They play defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Butler's going to make sure that team shows up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. So, and then just on the outside of that, I think a team that's going to take the next step this year is Atlanta. I think the Hawks are a really talented
always
team.
Right. They're always a team that you think is going to take the next step, and they just stay right there in that 7-8, just out.
They added another all-star in the offseason, though. At least potential all-star. He might have been an all-star last year. Maybe not. Maybe he just missed it. DeJounte Murray, who was the best player in San Antonio for the last 3 years.
Where? San Antonio still had an NBA team?
San Antonio, I don't want to talk about it too much, but they're going to be the worst team in the league.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, you have Orlando and you have gosh, Washington.
Race
maybe.
for the bottom, baby. Race for the bottom.
Anyway, the Pacers are going to be really bad. But so to me, I'm looking at Milwaukee still. I'm looking at Milwaukee with a good 3, 4, 5 teams that could get there, that could possibly take that step and get to the finals this year. Miami just did a few years ago. Brooklyn has a talent, obviously. The Sixers, I don't know. That's a team that has had the team in place, it seemed, for the last 3, 4 years. There's been some changes, and James Harden is there. He's going to be there a full year this year. But the way they play, it's still kind of, I don't want to see them either go Harden one-on-one or Embiid one-on-one. I need to see something different than that. If they play that way all year, I think they can win a bunch of games, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to.
Not in the playoffs. You can't win like that in the playoffs. It's been proven many times. So teams win in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. And you got to be able to play defense. They're going to have to be a better defensive team. And they've got some really good defenders on that team. So they're going to have to be at the top of the league defensively, and they're going to have to play together and figure something out on offense, except for, okay, give it to Embiid. He probably gets doubled. So get it back to Harden, and he either shoots a step back 3 or he
took a shot yesterday. I don't know, whenever they played, he took a shot where he tried to drive, stumbled, ran into the guy. The guy jumps back. He takes a step back. Guy jumps back at him, gives him a little chest bump, and he's got to throw it up at the buzzer and makes it to beat the shot clock. And it's like those shots are the reason he thinks he can do whatever he wants. I don't even know that he was looking at the basket when he let go of the ball.
Maybe not. By the way, there was, just before I came over here, I saw this from last night's game. He drew a flagrant 1 foul on Al Horford. We've been talking about this for a couple years. The flagrant fouls in the NBA now are common fouls.
They're just regular fouls.
Al Horford, so last year or the year before, they put the whole thing in with you can't land under a guy's feet.
Yep.
First of all, it's hard to do that when you are closing out and trying to.
It was put out. There was one guy specifically that did it to Steph like 3 times in one game. And I feel like that was the one that made it happen, because Steph Curry twisted his ankle and that was like the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were talking about it since Zaza Pachulia came under Kawhi Leonard in his second last year, something like that, in San Antonio, when they still had a good enough team to win a championship. He went out and they lost either that series or the next series or whatever. And everybody was talking about Zaza Pachulia being this dirty player and stuff after that. You are trying to go get out on a guy. Yes, you should do everything you can to not land under a guy. And that's a foul. But he landed, like, he went out and contested the shot and landed like kind of on the side in front of James Harden, and Harden shot the ball and his foot came down a little out in front of where it normally would, and it just kind of like the toe, kind of like touched the toe of Horford. It almost looked like, and he, went down to the floor. Harden just kind of threw himself to the floor, and they called a flagrant one on a.
Can't they go back and look at those? I thought the flagrants, they went back and looked at it.
I think they did.
Wow.
I can't do another season of that. It's going to happen though. I mean, we don't have a choice. So
who you got in the East? Milwaukee. So we both take Golden State, right?
Yeah.
I'll switch it up. Let's go. I'll go somebody different in the East. You're going to take Milwaukee. You know what? I'm gonna go Miami. That Miami team's too good. I'm going Miami. They've proven it before, so I'm going back to Miami.
Okay,
but nobody can beat Golden State. That team's in.
So Golden State wins the championship.
I would love to see Golden State and Dallas in the conference finals. I would love to see Luka get that far and kind of feel that, get that taste, and really take a team, because I love Luka. I love that kid. He is really, really fun to watch.
He's been a lot of people's picks for MVP this year.
Yeah.
This might be the year that
I hope he does it. He's really good.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go.
There's the NBA. I guess we're both saying, no, I'm saying Milwaukee's winning the championship.
Really? Oh, I'm taking Golden State. No, they can't be beat. As long as they're healthy, they can't be beat. They're the best. They're not even, there's no one, their depth, they can do it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you.
All right, that brings us to what's next? Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Rushmore of sports fights. Adam, I got to tell you, the first thing I thought of was, how do you judge this? This is the Mount Rushmore, so usually that's your favorite or the best. Any fight is never a good thing, right? If there's a fight, it's not a good thing. So so I decided to make this most memorable for me.
Okay.
Fights is how I did it.
Yeah.
I did not take a single football fight, because if you punch somebody in the helmet, that's not a fight. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So if you're dumb enough to hit somebody in the head, why do NFL players do that? How many times a game? It happens twice a game. Somebody smacks somebody in the head trying to get a fight.
What if you are precise enough to get through the face mask?
You lose. There's no chance.
I feel like it's happened.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet
there's been some eye poking and some eye gouging. Bill Romanowski,
yeah,
he probably tried to gouge your eye out if he was down there. Maybe pick your boogers, try to get all the way up into your brain through your nostril. Yeah, Bill Romanowski's a nasty man. I heard one time he peed while he was at the bottom of a pile. Oh, God. Just started peeing.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. So
there you go. All right. So sports fights, Adam, I'm going to let you start on the sports fights. Right. What's your Mount Rushmore of sports fights?
This was too hard. It was a bad choice for Mount Rushmore, but I'm going to do a couple fun ones.
I like
the beginning here.
All right, let's do some fun ones.
One is, and this kind of goes along with what you said. This is going to be some of the most memorable ones, really. It's hard not to think of Robin Ventura versus Nolan Ryan.
It's on mine. I've got it.
It's kind of fun, and what's kind of fun about it is you got to love Nolan Ryan. It's hard not to love
Pitchers
that guy.
Never win fights,
right? But and what's even more amazing about it, so it's the one, if you've never seen it, I don't know, you didn't, you haven't, you're 2 years old maybe or something or less.
Yeah.
He hits Robin Ventura, maybe on purpose, I don't know. Robin Ventura charges the mound right away.
Immediately.
Right away. And he gets out there, and I guess he's going down to kind of almost tackle or wrap him up. Wrap Nolan Ryan
First
up.
off, Nolan Ryan lost his glove like immediately and was like ready for. He's like, "Come on, baby, let's go." He did not move. There was no backing up.
And my favorite thing about this whole thing is, I believe, I didn't look it up, but I believe Nolan Ryan was in his 40s at that point.
Yeah.
And Robin Ventura was probably in his 20s still.
Probably.
So there may have been almost a 2-decade difference between these guys. Nolan Ryan gets him in a headlock, like wraps his head up and just starts going with his left hand and with his right
Pounding.
hand, just
100-mile-an-hour fastballs right to
Hammering
his
away.
dome.
hammering away. Now, it looked like Nolan Ryan definitely won that fight because of how that went. I was thinking about it, and these punches, his head's here and the punches here, you can't come back very far. He got some clean punches in maybe, but they couldn't have been that hard. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. It was the fact that he made Robin Ventura look like a child.
Look silly. Yeah, you're right.
That's what it was all about.
That was kind of funny, and it was just cool to see an older guy.
If you got
getting
all
the best
four,
of the
if you have
younger
all
guy.
four of the same ones as me, there's no way you have all four. I don't think.
Probably
That's a
not.
good start. That's a
No,
good
I
start.
definitely don't.
I
Have all four.
guarantee we've got at least two that are the same.
Yeah,
I mean, sports
definitely,
fights.
definitely.
There's one sports fight that is without a doubt the number one.
Let's just talk about that one next, and that's Malice at the Palace.
Malice at the Palace has to be.
Pacers versus Pistons. End of a blowout or whatever, I think. And there was a Ron Artest and Ben Wallace. Of course, Ron Artest is involved. A foul at the end of the game. Ben Wallace didn't like it, went after him. There was a little melee, a little skirmish or whatever. And then Ron Artest lays down on because he had like some brain stuff. I think
He's got some bipolar and some other. He's got probably 3 or 4 of them.
he's got probably 3 or 4 of them.
Got a little touch of this, a little touch of that.
He's got a few touches of stuff, but so he lays down on the scorer's table as they're sorting this out. A little showing off, a little being silly, a little maybe even a little taunting or something. Just being a goofball. And some bozo from the stands throws a beer from 10 rows up or whatever. Beer hits him. Good throw, by the way.
It's pretty accurate.
Nobody likes to have beer thrown on him, of course. He does. He breaks the cardinal sin, and that is going into the stands. A player going into the stands. You don't want to do that for your safety because you don't know who's in the stands. You don't know what they've got going on.
Way more fans than there are players.
Way more fans. They've got their keys in their pocket.
You're somewhere else. You're on the road, Jack.
That's right. So he runs into the stands, ends up grabbing and beating up the wrong guy. The guy that did not throw the beer. So he starts wailing on this guy that was next to the guy.
And those were talking about Nolan Ryan getting in some small punches. These were haymakers.
They were haymakers. I don't know if he really landed.
He landed one.
There's
one that looks like I feel like there's one that looks like he landed.
Okay, but
the one who really got him in was
Steven Jackson.
Yeah, Steven Jackson got a couple clean blows.
Another guy that if this is going to happen to anybody, you're not surprised that it's Steven Jackson.
Well, first off, if this is going to happen to somebody, Steven Jackson's the dude you want on your team.
Sure.
If this is going to happen to you, because he ain't standing for it.
Yep. So anyway, those two were in the stands. Excuse me. Sorry. They're just fighting people, and people start coming in, and at first I think trying to like grab Ron Artest and stop him, and he's just going nuts. So other people would start jumping in and just start trying to fight Ron Artest. Somebody else throws a beer on him from like point blank.
Meta world peace.
You're right, my bad. And so it's a really bad thing. I think a couple other players went up there. Who was it?
Jermaine O'Neal.
It was Jermaine O'Neal. The guy was walking onto the court or whatever, and he kind of just
punch. Yeah, I punch or trying to basically get him out. Get away.
Yeah. Really, really bad thing. The whole thing was really bad. It was, like one of the worst ones.
My favorite story is Steven Jackson is on a podcast or he's on something, and he says afterwards, him and Ron Artest and somebody else, almost Jermaine O'Neal or somebody, are sitting back in the locker room, and Ron Artest looks at him and goes, "Man, you think we're gonna get in trouble for this?"
Yeah.
Steven Jackson's like, "Man, we may never play basketball again after this."
Yeah, there was a really good documentary on Netflix about it.
Yep. And it was really cool because Jermaine O'Neal did that whole thing, if I'm not mistaken.
He may have been part of,
and it was all about being able to clear your name, kind of like he was known as a as a bad guy for a while, right? And Jermaine O'Neal's a really nice guy and a good human being. He just got mixed up in the wrong thing there. But being able to tell their side of the story was kind of you get to see both sides and the NBA side and the fan side, and you really get to see how so much stupidity that started it from both sides, and how these guys were blacklisted. Jermaine O'Neal was almost like blacklisted. I mean, he still played basketball, but he never. It was like he said, he was becoming one of the better players, and he was young, and it was almost like people wouldn't give him his time of day, wouldn't give him his respect, and he blames a lot of it on that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. If you have never seen that documentary, check it out. I think it's called Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, it's called Malice. Yeah. Last year, 2 years ago, it was during COVID that it came out.
Not too long ago. I'm gonna stay in basketball, and this is sort of just a fun Heat Knicks 98 playoffs.
This is Hardaway's playing for Miami at this point.
Tim Hardaway's playing there.
Yeah.
You have the year before
Alonzo
Mourning. The year before 97, they met in the playoffs, and they had a big fight there too.
Okay.
They were two of the best teams at the time. They were two, let's say,
tough
teams. Yeah.
Those Knicks teams were all known for that with John Starks and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. And yeah. So this was, there were, some little dust ups, I think, throughout the game, but then there was a play that a shot went up. Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson are trying to box each other out. Now, they're not doing what you teach grade school kids, where you touch them, you sit down, you get your butt on them, you push back a little bit, you have your hands ready to catch the ball. It wasn't a box out like that. This is an NBA box out where you are face to face with the guy, kind of going forearms to the chest, boxing out,
getting ready to push off as the ball's coming down.
That's right.
You go to go get it.
So they both start doing that, get tangled up. Probably, you slip up on the chest and you hit him in the chin a little bit, and then he's kind of like, pushes you away. John Starks gets the rebound, starts dribbling down the court right past those guys, and right away the whistle blows and he looks back and those guys are just throwing punches like crazy. Now, if you watch closely, like the first guy that got there to try to break it up, Jeff Van Gundy. He's on the sideline coaching the Knicks at the time. He sees them, sprints, full sprint in his suit to Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. Tries to grab, as soon as he gets there, tries to grab Alonzo Mourning around the waist, just slips right down his leg, and he's laying on the floor with his arms wrapped around one of Alonzo Mourning's legs.
Alonzo Mourning didn't even feel it.
Alonzo Mourning didn't feel it until they kind of broke it up, and then he realized, I can't move my leg at a regular rate right now, and he looks down, and he's like trying to he's like, what are you doing, man? Get off of me. And so just the pictures and the videos from certain angles are so funny. And then Jeff Van Gundy gets up and he's balding real bad, but he's got the really bad 90s
comb over.
The guy, the balding guy on the top who leaves his hair kind of longish on the back.
Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, it looks so bad. But then he had like the wispy hairs on top, and those are like sticking straight up and all over the place when he gets up from that. And he's really mad, and he just looks like Poindexter. I mean, he just looks like the nerdiest guy on the planet. Really smart basketball guy. I love him on the broadcast doing games.
So good. Him and Mark Jackson, like when they get on each other, like it's a like Mark Jackson will be like, "Are you kidding me, man? For real?" But in the end, they truly respect each other.
Oh, they love each other. Yeah. So that was just kind of for a humor one. I threw that in there. The last one I have you ever heard the story about Rudy Tomjanovich? You might know him from being the Rockets.
I saw this on there. Yeah, it's if you look up best sports fights or whatever on there, this comes up a lot.
I watched 3 or 4 videos of the best sports fights, and I didn't see it on there on any of them. But I knew about this one, and I kind of knew the story, and I wanted to get refreshed on it because it's really kind of fascinating. But so Rudy Tomjanovich was the Rockets head coach when they won back-to-back championships in the 90s, but he played for the Rockets in the 70s. The Rockets and Lakers were playing in a regular season game in 1977. There was a fight between Kermit Washington, was like one of the biggest, strongest guys in the league at that time, playing for the Lakers. And he was known for kind of being like that, being a Charles Oakley or an Anthony Mason or
Will Purdue.
Will Purdue?
Not Will Purdue. That's not what I
Bill
meant to
Laimbeer.
say. Bill Laimbeer.
I
don't call anybody their names today, so it doesn't matter. Everybody knows who I'm thinking of. Just giant white guy from the 90s, 80s, and 90s. That's him. There's only one other one left, right? Luke Longley. Is there any other ones out there?
That about covers it.
Big Country. What was his name?
Bryant Reese. So anyway,
Sean Bradley. Sorry, there's a few.
Sean Bradley, Mark Eaton, Greg Ostertag. We can keep going. Brad Miller. Anyway, so
George Mirasan.
Yeah, if we're just talking 7-7 guys.
I think he won first round in his first round of the ugliest man competition for this podcast. Anyway, continue.
So Kermit Washington gets in a fight with one of Rudy T's teammates on the Rockets. After a rebound or whatever, they get tangled up, kind of like Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning did. And so they get kind of tangled up or whatever. They get into it. The guy for the Rockets, I can't think of his name now, but I think he like grabs the ball and like kind of starts as they're like breaking away, gets the ball and starts trying to go down the floor. And I don't know if they blew the whistle or something like that or whatever, or Kermit Washington just ran him down and they kind of start fighting. And Kareem was right there. He grabs the guy, I guess, to either go for the ball or to just wrap the guy up to stop them from fighting. He has the guy's arms and Kermit Washington punches him. So that guy's kind of like going kind of down or like going away from him. And Kareem has him wrapped up. Kermit Washington turns away from him. As soon as he turns away, he sees Rudy Tomjanovich running. Rudy's hands are like out or at his side because he's running to his teammate that just got hit really hard, right? So he's running, but he has to kind of run past
the guy who
Kermit Washington to do that. Kermit Washington just turns and sees Rudy T right there running at him and just punches him like, Rudy T was not protecting himself because he wasn't
thinking he was in a fight.
Yeah. So gets hit really hard. He's running, by the way. His momentum is going this way. And then the punch meets him there, which makes it a lot worse. He goes immediately to the floor. Now, people that were there have described that they can hear the punch in the second deck and then heard his head hit the floor on the second deck. And somebody, I think it was Kareem or somebody, described it as his head hitting the floor sounded like a watermelon falling from the roof, hitting the floor.
Oh my God.
And that's disgusting. Here's the thing. Rudy T wasn't even knocked out, or he might've been for like a second, because right away he grabs his head on the floor and kind of curls up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's just like holding his head. Trainers come out. They start looking at him. He's down for maybe a minute and he just gets up on his own.
Yeah.
And he starts walking off. And this part isn't on the video, but the story goes that Rudy was walking off the floor and asked Kermit Washington why he hit him. He was going to check on his teammate or whatever. Why? And they apparently got into it, like didn't fight again, but were like
back and
going
forth,
with words. And so he almost got in a fight again. They take him to the hospital. They find out that he has a broken jaw. They wired his jaw shut right away. Broken jaw. Hold on, I've got it all written down. Fractured skull. Part of a brain hemorrhage.
Holy cow.
And was leaking spinal fluid.
Oh my God. Jeez,
From one,
Louise.
it was one punch.
One punch.
It was one punch. It wasn't. It
But
wasn't
that
in a
punch,
crowd.
if it's a full punch from a giant man and you're running full speed towards that punch, that like doubles the impact.
And then I'm assuming a lot of that was his head hitting the ground too.
Sure.
After
Yeah.
that. There was a time over the next few days that they thought Rudy Tomjanovich might not live. He might die from those
Wow.
injuries. He did end up recovering, but that one punch changed both those guys' lives so much. Now Rudy T ended up coaching later in life and won championships and everything, but he went through real bad depression and alcoholism because of that.
Wow.
Because it got so bad. Kermit Washington was like chastised so bad for that and was basically blacklisted sort of. I think they both ended up playing again, but it was like he was never the same again. Neither guy was ever the same again. Kermit Washington was getting death threats. There were so many stories about how bad a guy he was and everything. Nobody wanted anything to do with him after that. He got into like a life of crime after that. He's still like, as an
Jeez.
older guy, I think I don't know if he still is, but he might still be serving a jail sentence for like all this fraud, like credit card fraud and all these like kind of white collar crimes that he got into after that. And he like, so I think he divorced from his wife because his wife said after that he was never affectionate to me. Like he was a totally different person after that. So both guys lived a really tough life after that. Now Rudy T's in better shape now, and he, as a matter of fact, forgave Kermit Washington for almost killing him, and he said they're friends now and everything. But apparently Kermit Washington always was and still is a very hard guy to get along with. Doesn't make appearances, doesn't do any of that kind of stuff. So anyway, just a really interesting story that I heard a long time ago, and it replays in my mind once in a while. This was a good time to say that. I took
There
up
you go.
all the time.
Nicely done.
Thanks.
I like that. Was that 4?
That was 4.
All right. That sounds good. Well, we'll start off with the fact that we got 2 of the same.
Good.
Malice at the Palace. Where's it go? Malice at the Palace and Nolan Ryan. Where did I write these down at? I just had them. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Maybe. All right, so Malice at the Palace. Here it is. I just can't read it. Malice at the Palace, Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. I have to go with the Crosstown shootout. Obviously, that the Yancey Gates hitting Kenny Freeze crawling out of the crowd of people and then standing up at midcourt, face gushing blood, and throwing his hands out like he won or he did something great. Like, you just got knocked the crap out, dude. What are you doing? The zip them up started from there. That was probably the worst thing at the time. It's probably the worst thing Chris Mack ever did was let his players go into. I don't know that he let them. I don't know that he knew, but his two guards and Mark Lyons and Two Holloway go into the press conference afterwards, talk about, that's what we do. We zip them up. And ever since then, Zip 'em Up has become part of Xavier Nation. In fact, the basketball team for Xavier is called Zip 'em Up. The basketball tournament team is called Zip 'em Up. So anyway, and that's the thing. Even the players now, when they play, they do it. Even the kids that are on the sideline that probably have no idea what any of it means, do the zip 'em up. But they're zipping up a jacket when they do it. Like, they're zipping up a jacket. Like, nah, man, it's like zip them up in a body bag. Anyway, so I have that one. Last but not least, I went a little funny too.
Good.
2003 American League Championship Series.
Yeah.
Yankees, Red Sox. Fight breaks out. Pedro Martinez steps out of the dugout. He's running his jaws because that's what Pedro does. And Don Zimmer comes running over 79, 80. He might have been 80 years old at the time, 80-something years old. Don Zimmer comes running after Pedro Martinez. And Pedro Martinez has gotten a lot of flack for this for a long, long time. And he says it's the one thing he wishes he never did in baseball. It's his one regret. The guy was amazing. He's only got one blemish on his entire record, and it's this: throwing Don Zimmer, 80-year-old Don Zimmer, to the ground. What are you supposed to do? And I guess you just get out of the way, right? But when everybody's fighting, your adrenaline's going, you're not thinking straight.
Mm-hmm.
Don Zimmer obviously wasn't thinking straight.
I'll tell you
Don
what.
Zimmer went to go get Pedro Martinez. Pedro just backed up and kind of grabbed him, chucked him, and somehow Don Zimmer didn't break something as he rolled around on the ground afterwards. Watching that is probably one of my favorite things. And Pedro just like, what do I do? I don't know.
He grabbed him by the head, threw him down, and then Don Zimmer afterward has like cuts on his face and like he looks like he was in a war.
When you
he just fell on the ground.
Brother, when you're that old, you walk by a pillow and start bleeding. I got a guy at work. This dude, he walks around and he's bleeding. Like, Vern, what's wrong with you, man? And he's like, I don't know. I must have ran into something. Like, you walk by a pillow? I mean, like, I feel like a pillow shouldn't be able to cut you. Like, it's insane.
Walk by a pillow and start bleeding is a phrase I'm gonna have to use a lot now. That's so funny.
There you go. So, but that, that's what happens when you get old, man. You get that thin skin, dude. There ain't nothing left to it. You can almost, those old people, you think they're little like blotches on their, like sunspots. I don't know what that is. That's just where the skin's getting real thin. You can see the blood underneath. You can see the tissue underneath their skin. It's so thin. Seriously though, old man Vern, dude, he just be walking and then boom, he's gushing blood. No idea what happened. He could walk to you, nothing be within 5 feet of him. By the time he gets to you, he's bleeding. What happened? I don't know. I think a fly landed on me.
Oh man. Yeah, that was funny since he was okay and everything. But yeah. That was the same series when Pedro said, "Who is Crayon Garcia?" Right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's where the whole who's your daddy thing.
Yeah.
happened.
Who's your daddy? Yep. That whole who's your daddy came from that.
And it all started with A-Rod and Jason Barrett. Well, Bronson Arroyo hit Alex Rodriguez, and then
Jason Veritek jumps out and gets in front of him, and
and the whole thing started. Yep. That's a good one.
A young cornrowed Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with fighting.
No,
nothing.
I don't know though. He probably, with that leg kick he had, I feel like there might be a little ninja skills in him.
I guess he could have. Speaking of that, I saw the Chan-Ho Park one. He got into it with he was batting, and who was it? The pitcher on the other team fielded a weak ground ball or whatever, went over and tug him and like wrapped him up and held on a little too long. And Chan-Ho Park's like, "Get off of me!" And so he says something, and they start throwing. And that was the one when Chan-Ho Park. So he comes after him. Chan-Ho Park like jumped and like did like a kick. You remember that? He really did like a martial arts move.
I have sports fight. Okay, so I used to play way too much softball back in the day, and we had this dude who nobody liked on our team, and he loved hitting up the middle at pitchers. Like, he thought it was funny, right? And none of us liked him. He ran his mouth all the time, and it got to the point where, like, when he would do stuff, the other team would want to fight him, and we'd just sit in the dugout. Mm-hmm. So he hit a ball up the middle, broke a guy's arm, hit him right in the forearm, broke his arm. It is at his forearm there, broke his arm. And he's running his mouth as he's going to first base. There's this old dude on the other team. He's on their bench, okay? He's like a double black belt in 3 different karate things. He takes his shoes off. He's an old dude. This dude's probably, I say old dude. He's, to get in a fight with a 20-year-old, he's like 45 to 55 years old, somewhere in there. Takes his shoes off, throws his foot up on the fence that's, chest high, shoulder high, maybe even higher than that, throws his foot up there and starts stretching on the fence. And we're like, oh, he's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. And he is. So as this dude's going to first base, running his mouth after he just hit this pitcher, and his pitcher's on the ground with a broken arm. This guy's in the other team's dugout stretching, and he starts yelling at him, don't move, stay there. He's stretching his legs out. And I'm talking, he walks over, Nothing ever happened. They stopped it all. We didn't. We never left the dugout. Nobody left the dugout. Like, we were leaving that dude out there for his own self. But
Good
the
for
other
you
team
guys.
stopped the fight. But this guy was going to kill. He took his shoes off. When we saw him taking his shoes off, we're like, old man knows that he'd kill him if he had shoes on, I guess. I don't know. Like, but he took his turf shoes off and he's in his bare feet and he's going to go ninja karate kid on this dude.
So he walked out onto the dirt field in his bare feet.
Bare feet, ready to go.
Okay.
Stretching. He starts stretching in the dugout. We're like, oh boy. I mean, he got his foot up by his head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Crow cop. He was going to crow cop kick him in the head. And he was going down. Boy.
Anyway, there you go.
So how did this guy get on your team? Who is this guy?
I don't know.
I
When
don't
I
even
played
know
with
him
a
and I hate
bunch.
him.
I play with a bunch of guys that I will never ever know again. You play with them for like 1 year because you know a guy who knows a guy who played with a guy. You know how it goes when you're just trying to get the best team you can out there. And he's a good ball player. He's a really good ball player, but he also was a ding dong.
Yeah, that's a shame. Good story though. That's funny. Kind of wish the guy would have gotten a kickoff.
It would have been great. The dude who would have kicked him, like, apparently he fell like three or four floors down an elevator shaft, and this dude's like I feel like the stories that go around this dude on the softball field and everything, I feel like he was like Walker, Texas Ranger. What's that guy's name?
Yeah. Warter, Texas Ranger. That's his name.
There you go. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, he's got
How
all
bad is it that none of us know
Oh,
we can know? We don't know his name.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. So there you go.
Oh, that was 4.
Well, that was my 4.
That was your 4.
Donnie Zimmer.
Nice.
Donnie
Okay,
Baseball.
that's right.
Not Donnie Baseball. Don Zimmer.
The first Donnie baseball.
The first.
Still Mattingly.
That's right.
Okay. Cool.
Legendary bench coach.
Pride of Western Hills High School, right?
100%. Yeah. Even before old Pete.
All right. So another pride of the Western Hills High School, Iliza Shlesinger. Okay. She has been around in comedy a long time, boy. When I say a long time, she's 40, right? She's 39.
She's 39.
That's
It's
weird,
her
man.
sixth. It's her sixth Netflix special. And can I just say, when I love these people, right? Like there's some comedians that I love and I'm excited. And then when they get to number 4, 5, or 6, all of a sudden it's a microphone. They are standing on a stage in a platform.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. Believe what you want to believe. Use your platform for your good and whatever you want to do. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to say that your comedy special was really good. Her jokes were hilarious. Joke for joke, she's great. And she's got the physical humor in it. And the voices are a little weird sometimes, but she does a good job. And they're funny. She can tell a story for 10 minutes and you can laugh at 15 to 20 different things in it. Pretty good. I enjoyed the jokes part of it. But I wasn't here for not political, just whatever stance after stance after stance. 1 or 2 that these people do. Yeah, I get it. You're there, you get throw out how you feel about something, move on to the next joke. It's a comedy special. That's what I'm here to watch. I'm not trying to say like you shouldn't do that. If that's what you want to do with it, that's fine. Totally cool. I got no problem with you taking your 6th Netflix special and running away with everything you feel about pro-life and this, that, or the other. Every kind of thing that's out there. Good for you. Do it. No problem with it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to like it. And I could totally agree with all of your politics. And I still am going to be, you can make political jokes. Those are fun. Most of those are hilarious. You can make fun of the people I voted for and I'm going to be laughing at you, right? That doesn't matter to me if it's in joke form. I love that. I'm totally fine with that. Make your stance in joke form. It's a stand-up comedian. Outside, that brought me down. That made it difficult. I love her. I love all of her specials she's had. She's funny. The elder millennial is one of my favorite. I use that term because I'm 39 years old. I use the term elder millennial I'm an elder millennial. I'm not a millennial. I'm an elder millennial. I had the best of both worlds, right? I didn't have technology and I had technology and da 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 da. That being said, the jokes were good. She still is a good comedian. It just got off the rails for about 25, 30 minutes.
Which is a long time in an hour.
It felt like most of the hour, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So and here's the deal. When we were sitting down here right before we started the podcast, I wrote down, I might have scored this a little high, is what I said when I was writing it down. I don't know if you remember me saying that.
I do.
I might have scored it a little high. I gave it a 3.2.
Oh,
because I feel like the jokes were still there. Like, I mean, if she went with a full one, I feel like she is 4 or better potential every time she steps onto a stage for me. But this one dropped down. I feel like I may have overrated it just because I've enjoyed her stuff in the past.
Okay. It's wow. It's funny you say that. So you feel like if 3.2 is a little bit over what you maybe would normally think if you didn't already have such a high, opinion of her. I'll just start with my rating then, and that's a 2.8. I almost went 2.9, and I kind of scratched in an 8. 2.8. So I think we're pretty much
really
right.
close. Yeah. I feel like I would have been about 2.9, 2.8 if I wouldn't have. When I wrote it down, I was like, nope, I wrote it down. I'm sticking with it. But yeah, so yeah, we probably would have been a lot closer if I would have re-examined my brain when I wrote it down.
Yeah. I just wrote a few things down. One, this felt like it was made for women. Like a lot of it was about how awful men, how
she came back every once in a while. Like she kept saying like she was going to go back and forth, and she did a little bit, but yeah, there was a lot that was pushed that way.
A lot of it was like,
the bra strap stuff. And like, I feel like my wife would have laughed her ass off at some of those things. Like with the, if you have more than 3 buckles on the back of your bra, then it's a brassiere.
Yeah, she did a bunch of time on that stuff, and that wasn't bad. So a couple things. I mean, I thought the jokes and the comedy part of it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was awesome or anything. One thing I wrote down because I laughed out loud at it was fartable umbros.
Fartable umbros when she was in Italy and everybody had their clothes on and she's wearing fartable umbros.
That was a very funny one. The part where she talked about it and tried to joke about it, but like one of the things that I liked about when she was like going off on her opinions on stuff was the women's empowerment language, all the stuff that they put on bags.
No, that was different, right? That's making a point with a joke. She made that all turned into jokes at the same time when she was like, what would you, but when you go into when you go into work and your boss turns around, looks at you and like, what's up, power bitch or whatever, boss bitch or whatever. Like you can't do that in real life. Just like with the TikTok stuff. I laughed at a lot of the TikTok stuff. Like if a woman walks in to you, like if you saw a woman doing a TikTok dance in real life, you'd be like, there's something wrong with her on the dance floor.
And I'll tell you, I see this all because she's right there. When you're doing the dance, you don't hear the music. It's silent. And you just like somehow, I don't even know how it works, but I see the girls that I coach all the time doing this. Like before practice.
The music's not in the music's in the background
on TikTok, but you don't hear it when you're doing the dance.
Like maybe it's because they got earbuds in. Because I've done it with my niece. I can definitely hear because I don't know.
Maybe they have earbuds in. I don't know. I feel like I've seen them do it a bunch without it. Anyway, I don't know. But that stuff, the stuff like that they put on with weird language and stuff. I'm like, there's a certain kind of person that wears that stuff and buys stuff like and it's kind of gross.
Gay black gay black drag queen or something. Is that what she said they stole the language from?
Yeah. It's just, oh God, it's like, ugh, what kind of person? But I feel like I dated a person kind of like that before, but
nice.
Anyway, that part of it, I kind of agreed with a little bit. So I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this part, even though it's not that funny, but so much of it was just about how awful men treat women and how, I'm like,
Women
I
empowerment.
get it.
There was a lot of the women empowerment.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all wrong or anything like that, but boy, oh boy, sometimes it's a little overdid it a little bit, I think, on some of that stuff. That's about it. I had,
I don't think there's much else to say.
It was fine.
Mhm.
Some of it was, I wish she would have done more jokes,
More comedy.
Yeah.
Which,
But
like I
that's
said,
good.
it's your special. I don't want to be the person here acting like, oh, you're a basketball player, just shut up and dribble. I'm not saying that, but I'm not that guy by any stretch of the imagination. Do what you want, but if I'm going to sit here and rate the comedy show,
Absolutely,
then I feel like then that's what I'm going to do. And
it definitely wasn't. And no comedy is for everybody, but that definitely wasn't for everybody.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, that's okay. Good. Iliza Shlesinger, still watch it if you want,
Absolutely.
hot forever, right?
Yep. Hot forever.
Yeah.
You want to see somebody who not just decided to cut some holes in their pants.
Yeah. I feel like
she felt like she's got good hip bones. I feel like she was like, I'm going to show my hip bones off.
I think she's proud of her body at 39, which is great. That's terrific. And she does. She looks great. But yeah, that was an interesting choice of. I had a hard time not focusing on the two hip areas that were just showing. I was like, these are high-waisted pants or whatever they were. And they had these little, I guess there are a lot of shirts are like that. They have certain holes in different areas and stuff, but so maybe it was just kind of like that, but I don't know.
There you go, bud. I don't know either. There you go. All right. That's it, man. That's all the aspects of the podcast. Now we just got to pick next week's Mount Rushmore and comedy special.
That's right. I've got a comedy special.
It's a good thing.
All right, good. I'm going to say this first. Then there are a bunch of new comedy specials out. So plenty to pick from. I'm going to go with Hassan Minaj.
Ooh.
I used to think it was Hassan, and then I actually heard him say it, and he pronounced it Hassan. So I guess that's right.
Are you sure he wasn't saying Hassan just really fast?
No, I think he was.
Hey, how are you? I'm Chris. Instead of saying Chris, I'm Chris. Or hey, Hassan.
No, I think it's Hassan.
I was just trying. I was just throwing it out there.
Because I've heard other people say it that way too, but then I still hear people say it Hassan. Anyway,
yeah, I feel like that's when people make fun of me for saying bagel or egg or aunt or whatever. I feel like Peggy, not aunt. Peggy.
I don't know.
I feel like it's the same thing. I don't hear a difference between Hassan and Hassan. Hassan and Hassan. Hassan, Hassan.
Pillow.
I don't know. Pillow. What's wrong with the pillow? Yeah, am I saying it right?
I thought you pronounced it pillow.
Pillow? No, I don't do that. No, I don't. I've never had anybody say anything about pillow, but bagel. Probably bagel. People are like, ooh, bagel. You got bagel, and Peggy. I get that all the time, and I can't. I apologize. I don't know that sound the same to me. Or no, here's the one. This is the one that this is probably more like it. Cran or Crayon, right? That's like Hassan or what were the two? They sound the same.
Hassan or Hassan.
Hassan or Hassan. That's Cran or Crayon. Yeah. My wife, I've got two of the three kids call it a crayon. They don't call it crayon. She hates that. She loves it's a crayon. It's a crayon. Mm-hmm. How do you say it?
Well, I'm a human being that knows what letters are and the alphabet and English language, so I call it a crayon. But if you want to just take a couple of letters out of it and call it a crayon,
I'm not. It's a crayon. It's a crayon.
How is it? But how is that pronounced crayon?
A-Y is A. A-Y just sounds like A. And then you got O-N. Crayon.
Where's the O go?
Yeah.
Where is the O?
It's right before the N.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Crayon.
No. The O's gone if you say it that way.
It's a crayon.
The O left.
Why? Well, there's silent letters and everything.
The O's not supposed to be silent.
Well, says who? Well, guess what? I want to
Says-
call it an opossum.
says-
It's
says-
silent in possum.
Says Crowla, the
What?
maker of crayons.
How am I
Some
supposed
people
to know?
some people call it
If-
crowns.
You
That's
can't
even
tell
more
me.
insane.
You can't tell me that O's are always sounded out when you've got a possum.
Okay.
It's an
Okay.
opossum now. I'm gonna start calling it opossum. An opossum. Is it an
That's-
opossum or a possum?
I think
If you look out and you go, "Oh my God, look at that possum," or no, hey, there's a possum.
it's an opossum. That's what it actually is.
The O's
But
not the O's silent.
No, it's not. No, if you say
So it's
possum, you just
an-
spell it with a
So
P.
it's an opossum. It's not.
It's an
a
opossum. Yeah, if you say
So you
it,
don't go, "Oh
the
my
right
God,
letter.
hey, look, there's a possum."
if you're calling it a opossum and possum are two different things. You're shortening it and
100
calling it a possum. A possum.
Okay. So, but it should be an opossum.
That's right. And it should also be a crayon.
What about
because
What about water?
those
How
are
many
the letters
R's
that are in
How
it.
many R's are in water? I take the O out of Cran, and I take that and I kind of cut around in some parts, and I take and it turn it into an R, and I add it to water, so I can
Water?
get water.
Warter.
You give me a cup of water.
So my dad worked for Coke for 40 plus years, and he worked with some real characters. And there was a guy that he worked with a lot who was a down home backwoods
Oh yeah,
Kentucky
baby. Let's go.
hillbilly. Okay.
Mhm.
And man, some of the stuff, the way that guy pronounced things
Down in the holler.
was so funny. Coke used to carry the water that doesn't exist anymore, I don't think, called Naya. Naya.
Mhm.
Remember Naya
Mhm.
water? When he came home one day and told us that this guy pronounced it Norya, I mean, I think we all peed in our pants. We laughed so hard, and we still
Norya
talk
water.
about Norya water.
Norya water.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny when people pronounce stuff wrong. It's so
Well,
funny.
what about this? I probably say water. I probably say water.
You say water?
I do say water, but I do say Warsh.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It just comes out. I have no idea. I do not add an R to water, but I do add an R to Warsh. I don't know why that is. That's just the way it happens.
Okay.
Like if I look at Parker and I go, dude, it's time to go wash your dishes.
What does he say? What language is that?
No.
What am I supposed to do with
I
the
don't
dishes?
feel
I'm
like Warsh.
confused.
I don't feel like Warsh is nearly as bad as water. I feel like water
It's
sounds ridiculous.
Absolutely everybody.
No, water sounds
every-
ridiculous.
Why?
It's water because it's water.
What is?
But if I
what-
gotta go do the wash,
oh my
don't
gosh!
forget to
I
wash your
gotta-
hands.
Don't forget, if you wash your crayons and you leave them in your pockets and you wash the crayons, holy smokes, is that going to leave a mess in the washing machine?
I wash my crayons and I eat my bagels.
There you.
I still really have
get-
no idea what I say differently when I say bagel.
You get egg on your bagel.
I do get egg. Egg. What's wrong with egg? It's an egg. What? I don't understand that. That's what this is what happens to me every time I have this stupid conversation. I can't stand this. This irks me. All right. The Warsh and all that, I get it. The Cran, I get it. I say Cran just because that's how I grew up. Call it a Cran. I get it. It's called a crayon. I realize that. Okay. Now I don't know why I say it. It's just the way I said it since I was born. The thing that irritates me is when I say a word and somebody laughs at me, and then I say it like 5 times and they go, yeah, that's how you say it. And I just said the exact same word. I can say egg 15 times and I don't know when I say it right or wrong. They all sound exactly the same. So, I don't understand that. If I talk in a normal sentence, people laugh. And then I'll be like, what? And I'll be like, I don't understand it. And then I get what you just gave me. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't understand it. I said the exact same word. Literally, I just said egg again. That's all I did. I don't understand it.
I have a really weird I have a really weird memory from when I was like maybe I don't know, 4, 5, 6, something like that. And we grew up next door to a 2-family house. And there were different people in there over the years. And at some point upstairs, I think there was a lady and her little daughter that must have been around my age. I don't remember anything about this little girl. I just remember being in there, going into their house upstairs one time and to play with this little girl. And
Wow, you went into the 2-family?
yeah,
Wow.
I don't remember anything about it. You know,
Okay.
you have the upstairs, you have to go in on the side.
Right.
The downstairs, if you go in the front door, that's like a bedroom or something. So you
Oh,
have to go in the
wow.
back door or walk in the kitchen or something. So anyway, I went upstairs in the 2-family and played with this little girl for a little bit. And then I guess my mom like went over and met the people and then let me go up and play and then came over and got me when I was, when it was time to come home or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember going like to the top of the steps to walk down, or maybe I started walking down or maybe I got to the bottom or something. And the little girl says, next time you come over, bring your crowns.
Oh, I've heard that's the, yeah.
And I remember I must have been so little. This has to be one of my first memories ever.
Yeah.
And I remember asking her 4 or 5 times, what? I didn't know what she was
no
talking
idea
about.
what she wanted you to bring
no
over.
idea.
I don't
Crowns?
own any crowns. I mean, we can
Yeah.
go to Burger King and probably get some.
Right. And I repeat, and then finally, I think it was like my mom was like crayons. And I'm like, oh, and that was the first time I had ever heard anybody pronounce it like that. And I'm like, that was insane. She pronounces it crowns.
That one's funny. I would laugh at that person coming from a Cran guy. I feel like there's only 2 ways to say that word. It's Cran or Crayon.
There's not
I
2 ways.
feel
I
like
promise. There's
crowns.
not 2 ways.
Crowns is not even close. Potato, man. That's what I'm saying.
If you call it crayons, I think you are shortening and just putting a slang term on cranberries. I think you want me to bring some cranberries over.
You think?
I think you want me to bring some cranberry juice over. And look, maybe you have kidney stones or whatever, and I can bring you cranberry juice if you want it.
Yeah.
Or Cran.
That's what they're saying on the streets.
Or if you want, I can bring crayons over. If you also want me to bring straws over, or you want me to bring blues over, you want me to bring blackberries over.
I got you. I'm catching what you're spitting out. Some straws. I got the straws. For a second, I thought you were about to go. I was lost there because I thought the straws were for the juice.
Right.
See, I got to get down. I got to get to know my slang terms.
We're covering the berries.
Yeah.
We're shortening the berries. And that's to me what I see in my mind and what I hear when
that's
I hear
what you crayons is cranberries.
Yeah,
you're ridiculous. That comes in a yellow and green box. It's got 64, 120, 48, sometimes 24 if you're cheap.
Made by Crayola or Crayola.
Crayola.
Oh, now the O's in now the O is in Crayola. Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, Crayola.
Okay. But it's almost spelled exactly the same way. It's instead of an LA, it's an N.
I call it
that's when
Crayola.
Adding the N drops the O. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like any other word synonym or something like that. Doesn't that have a P in it or something?
Yeah.
See?
Silent P.
Yeah. It's not synonym.
No.
But there's an N at the end. So you got to drop one of the letters, and they decided the P was the one that was going to get lost in that one. The O gets lost in Cran. It's just AY. Yeah.
But isn't it Crane then? If it's CRAY.
AY. AN. Crayon.
It has to be Crane.
Crayon. Cran. Crayon. I don't know, man. I've been saying this since I was a kid. I didn't know there's a difference until people started laughing at me. Just like the egg and bagel thing. I don't get it at all. I do get the Cran. I take that back.
That time it was a short day.
I get the Cran. That's wrong. I don't get the bagel or the egg. Don't understand.
Those were great. Those were great.
Well, I need to close my mouth a little bit when I talk.
And put some sort of accent on it.
They all sound exactly the same to me. I must say, now I keep thinking about it. I must say egg and bagel
Those
a
are good.
million times. It's exactly what I said this entire time. I've never not said anything different.
You said the same word every time. Just pronounced it different every time.
It's not pronounced any different. Literally came out of my mouth exactly the same. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it.
Came out
Hate
of
it.
your mouth the same way every time.
There's
huh?
nothing worse than like a new person that you've never met before. And you say something and they give you that look. And I know. I can see in your eyes. You're trying to hold it back. I can see that you don't like the way I said that. You know what? I'll call you out right off the bat. I'm sorry. I don't hear a difference. I don't know what it is. I'll call you out right now. Chris Witt, good to meet you. I say my E's wrong.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I don't even know when. It just happens. Just depends on if I wash my mouth out or not.
Oh my gosh. That's the best.
Man, I don't know if there's any other words that I have issues with, but that's it's definitely Cran, Warsh, and Warsh is something that I say consistently.
Did you say wash and then hear somebody say that and you're like, that's so funny, I'm gonna say it every time.
I feel like that's probably what happened with Warsh. I feel like
and then it became
and then I just started saying, yeah. I feel like then it just became like that, like somebody saying, like, yeah, Warsh, that's fun. Hey, y'all want to go down to the creek, wash your clothes? Let's go down to the creek, wash your clothes.
I expect if somebody has an accent like that, I expect a warsh.
Oh, Warsh.
Yeah.
Warsh.
Warsh or warsh. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Warsh. I'll say Warsh.
I have to
WORSH.
I have to think hard and concentrate on putting the R in there.
I catch myself saying crick a lot too. If I see a creek, I'll just say it because I think it sounds funny, but now it's just what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillbilly language is so funny to me. I love doing an accent.
My grandpa used to tell people all the time on a job site, somebody would come in and tell them what's wrong, right? We build these big, commercial swimming pools with, 15 slides and lily pads and deep, like just huge monster pools. And they'd come into the trailer and some smart guy started talking to him and he'd stop. Now, hold on now. Now start over and put it in hillbilly for me. What does that mean? He used to tell them all the time, put it in hillbilly for me. You got to talk to me in hillbilly.
That's the best. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Well, I guess we got to wrap this up.
Yep. So we got Hassan. Oh, Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Mount Rushmore words that are said wrong. No.
Oh, that's great.
No, I'm not doing that. Let's go. Let's make this nice and smooth. And I'm gonna go with Mount Rushmore of, man, was not prepared for this in any way, shape, or form. Can we go Mount Rushmore of clothing?
Yes.
What's
What
your
do you mean?
favorite clothing item that you have? No, that's so bad. No, I'm not doing that.
Oh.
Mount Rushmore of man. Let's go back to the music thing. Let's go back to music. All right.
Yeah, that was really good.
Mount Rushmore of Eminem songs.
Oh, okay. Yep. We were both big into Eminem back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Eminem songs. All right. Very good.
Perfect.
All right. We've got next week set. I'm sure we'll check in on the MLB playoffs. We'll see what's going on. I mean, we're going to be in the regular season in the NBA. If anything special happens or crazy happens, we might talk about that. We're not going to update the NBA throughout the entire regular season, but
we used to do the big three. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe
if there's three things worth talking
we'll
about,
bring it back on a weekly. It may not be a weekly basis, but we'll make it a spur of the moment kind of thing.
We want to do the stuff that you want to hear. So if there's something you want to hear about, look, I'm not sure we can talk. We can jokingly talk about hockey or something like that.
100%.
But if
we've done it before,
we've talked about soccer in that way. If you really want to hear something, our
Oh.
opinions on something, I don't know why you would, but let us know.
That sounds good.
Go ahead.
I
What?
like
You
it.
had something.
Nope.
Please.
Absolutely not.
Please.
No, we're
Please.
good. We may have a surprise guest coming up.
Hey.
We may have a surprise guest coming up. I believe it's in November. There's a big race, and he's really excited and wants to come on the podcast.
Oh, big race.
Yes.
We can. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. Good. Race it up. Race.
We get race day going. So we'll see how it's not, is it the Indy 500? I don't know which one it is. It's one of the big races.
November.
It's coming up. I don't know when it is either, but which one it is.
I just learned in the last couple of years there's a difference between NASCAR and Formula One and that kind of stuff. I didn't even know that.
You know, they got trucks too. They race the trucks.
I hear, the only thing I hear when I always get to laugh at it is when Seg Dennison does the racing report.
Yes, I love that. It's so good. Segman's awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. All right,
all
so there you go. Eminem songs, Mount Rushmore, and
Hassan Minaj.
exactly what he said. I got to go wash the car, so I might. One of the kids took a Cran to it.
Oh gosh,
I'm out of here.
Must have ate some bad eggs that day.
I still don't hear it. That one didn't make sense to me in my head. I have no idea what you just said wrong. All right, don't forget to turn your headlights on.